If you've ever dreamed of waking up in the morning and knowing that money hit your account while you slept, then rental real estate in 2026 may be one of the smartest paths forward. But here's the truth. Making passive income from rentals isn't about luck, and it's not just about owning a property. It's about understanding the shifts happening right now, setting yourself up with the right financing, balancing your strategy for consistent returns, and building systems that free you from daily headaches. So let's break down exactly how you can position yourself this year. First, rental demand is going through a massive shift. Housing affordability continues to push people out of buying and into renting. Interest rates, while moderating compared to the last 2 years, are still high enough that many first-time buyers are waiting on the sidelines. At the same time, people are relocating more than ever, whether it's to chase remote work opportunities, find affordable living, or simply improve their lifestyle. This creates one thing: strong rental demand. If you own rental property in the right markets, places where jobs are growing, people are moving in, and affordability is tight, you'll have the upper hand. The secret is to stop thinking about national averages and start looking at local rental trends. That's where the opportunity lives in 2026. Second, you can't talk about real estate without talking about financing. The biggest mistake investors make is leveraging themselves or chasing the lowest down payment without considering risk. The smart move in 2026 is to use leverage wisely. Fixed rate loans where you lock in your payments long term, and creative financing options like seller financing or partnerships, and even house hacking strategies to offset your own living costs. Financing isn't just about getting into a property. It's about protecting yourself against rising expenses and giving your cash flow room to breathe. Remember, the person who survives the downturn is the person who never stretched too thin. Third, investment. Let's talk about the balance between cash flow and appreciation. Appreciation looks good on paper. It makes your net worth go up, but you can't spend paper gains. True passive income comes from monthly cash flow, the rent that pays your mortgage, covers your expenses, and still leaves money in your pocket. That's why when analyzing deals in 2026, you should prioritize strong cash flow first. If appreciation comes, great, but your financial freedom depends on consistent rental income, not speculative growth. Finally, passive income isn't truly passive unless you build systems. Too many investors burn out because they treat their rentals like a second job. The real secret is to outsource property management, use technology for rent collection and maintenance requests, and build a reliable team, contractors, accountants, and managers who can handle the day-to-day. That's how you scale. One property might give you a little freedom, but 10 properties managed efficiently can change your entire life. And you can only get there if you're not bogged down fixing toilets at midnight. So here's the bottom line. 2026 is packed with opportunities, but you need to play smart. Focus on rental demand, finance strategically, chase cash flow over speculation, and build systems that make your money work without chaining you to a second job. Do that, and you'll unlock the real estate secret that so many people talk about, but few actually achieve: genuine passive income. Rental demand in 2026 is experiencing one of the most significant shifts we've seen in decades. Investment and understanding this change is the first step to building lasting passive income from real estate. The biggest driver behind this demand is affordability, or rather, the lack of it. Over the past few years, housing prices have climbed faster than wages, and even though mortgage rates are showing signs of stability, they remain high enough to push many would-be buyers into the rental market. This is not just a temporary condition. It's becoming a structural trend. A large group of people, especially younger generations entering adulthood, simply cannot afford to buy right now. That means more of them are renting longer, and in many cases, they're willing to pay a premium for quality rentals in the right locations. Another major factor is lifestyle flexibility. In the past, owning a home was the ultimate financial goal. Today, many people value mobility and freedom more than being locked into a 30-year mortgage. Remote work is still a defining trend, and it allows people to relocate without having to commit long-term investment. Some move to smaller cities with lower costs of living, while others move closer to lifestyle amenities like beaches, outdoor activities, or urban centers with better job opportunities. What this means for investors is that rental demand is no longer concentrated only in major cities. It's spreading into secondary markets and suburban areas where people can get more space for less money. By paying attention to migration trends, investors can identify markets where rental demand is not only strong today, but is likely to grow steadily over the next decade. There's also the rise of what you might call renters by choice. These are individuals and families who could afford to buy but choose not to because they don't want the responsibility of maintenance, property taxes, or being tied down to one location. This group often prefers higher-end rental properties, modern apartments, townhomes, or single-family rentals in desirable neighborhoods. They're willing to pay for convenience and quality, which creates opportunities for investors to tap into higher cash flow by offering well-maintained properties with amenities like in-unit laundry, smart home features, or proximity to entertainment and shopping districts. Another trend shaping demand is demographics. Millennials, the largest generation in the workforce, are still in their prime renting years, while Gen Z is quickly entering the rental market as they graduate, find jobs, and start families. Combined, these two groups represent tens of millions of people who will dominate rental demand for at least the next decade. Meanwhile, older generations, including retirees, are increasingly looking to downsize. Many sell their homes and rent instead, preferring the simplicity of not worrying about upkeep. This creates demand across different property types, from small apartments to single-story rental homes designed for convenience. The takeaway here is clear. Rental demand in 2026 is being fueled by powerful overlapping forces: economic, social, and demographic. As an investor, the opportunity lies in positioning yourself where these forces converge. It's no longer about just owning property, investment. It's about owning the right property in the right market at the right time. If you can spot where demand is moving, you'll be able to secure tenants consistently, minimize vacancies, and enjoy reliable passive income even as the housing market continues to evolve. Financing and leverage are the backbone of real estate investing, and in 2026, using them wisely could be the difference between building long-term wealth and putting yourself in financial trouble. Too many people hear the word leverage and think it means stretching every dollar as far as it can possibly go, putting down the smallest deposit and chasing the largest property they can afford. While that might look good in the short term, it creates massive risk if the market shifts or if expenses climb unexpectedly. The smarter approach is to treat financing as a tool that magnifies your returns while protecting your downside. When you do this right, leverage doesn't just help you buy property. It helps you build passive income that is resilient in both good and bad markets. One of the biggest advantages in 2026 is the availability of fixed rate loans. Unlike adjustable loans that rise with the market, fixed rate financing locks in your monthly payment for decades. That stability is invaluable when rents are rising, but your mortgage stays the same. Over time, your income grows while your largest expense remains predictable. Investors who understand this lock in financing when it makes sense, knowing that stability allows them to weather any short-term fluctuations in the housing market or economy. Beyond traditional mortgages, creative financing is becoming more popular and more necessary. Seller financing, for example, allows you to bypass banks entirely by negotiating directly with a seller who provides financing at terms that work for both parties. This is particularly powerful in a market where traditional lending standards remain tight and interest rates are still higher than many buyers would like. Partnerships are another option. Splitting costs and responsibilities with a partner allows you to take on bigger deals without overextending yourself. In some cases, strategies like house hacking, where you live in one unit and rent out the others, let you start small, reduce your living costs, and build equity without the financial strain of a full investment property right away. Leverage is also about more than just the loan itself. It's about how you structure your entire financial picture. Smart investors keep reserves, money set aside for maintenance, vacancies, or unexpected repairs. They don't put themselves in a position where one bad month ruins their entire strategy. They analyze deals conservatively, assuming expenses might run higher and income might be slightly lower than projected. Investment. This disciplined approach ensures that the property works as a business, not just as an optimistic projection on paper. What makes 2726 unique is that investors who balance financing and leverage correctly will have the chance to scale faster. Rental demand is strong and rents are rising, but that only matters if your financing is structured in a way that keeps cash flow positive. By locking in stability, using creative tools, and keeping risk in check, you can use leverage as a way to grow instead of gamble. That is the real secret. Treat leverage as a strategic tool, not a shortcut, and it will give you the foundation for sustainable passive income for years to come. When it comes to making passive income from rentals, one of the biggest mistakes new investors make is putting all of their focus on appreciation. They look at past housing booms, see how property values have skyrocketed, and assume the same thing will happen to them. But here's the reality: appreciation is unpredictable. It depends on market cycles, interest rates, investment, economic forces that are completely outside of your control. If your entire investment plan relies on your property doubling in value in 10 years, you're gambling, not investing. Investment. The real key to passive income in 2026 is understanding the balance between cash flow and appreciation and prioritizing cash flow first. Cash flow is the money that's left over after you collect rent and pay all your expenses: mortgage, taxes, Insurance, maintenance, and property management, it's the lifeblood of your investment because it's what puts money in your pocket every single month. That's what makes your rental property truly passive income instead of a financial burden. And the beauty of cash flow is that it doesn't matter what the market does in the short term. If your property covers its expenses and gives you a profit each month, you can ride out downturns, wait for markets to recover. Investment, and never feel forced to sell at the wrong time. Cash flow gives you control. That doesn't mean appreciation doesn't matter. It does. Over time, most properties in good locations will rise in value. Appreciation builds your net worth, increases your equity, and can even allow you to refinance and pull money out to grow your portfolio. But the problem comes when investors flip the order of priorities. They buy properties that don't cash flow. Investment, hoping that appreciation will save them. And when markets cool, interest rates shift, or rents don't rise as expected, they find themselves stuck with a property that costs them money every month. Investment, that's the opposite of passive income. It's a liability. The balance comes from analyzing deals with a cash flow first mindset. When you run the numbers in 2026, don't just look at projected rent growth or potential resale value. Ask, after everything is paid, does this property put money in my pocket today? Even if it's a modest amount, that positive cash flow makes the investment sustainable. Then any appreciation that comes as a bonus, not the foundation of your strategy. It's the difference between investing for freedom versus speculating for luck. Another part of this balance is being realistic with your assumptions. Don't just assume rents will climb 10% every year. Build in a margin of safety. What if rents only grow slowly? What if your expenses go up faster than you expected? By planning for conservative outcomes, you ensure that your cash flow remains solid even in tougher conditions. And when the market does well, you're pleasantly surprised instead of dangerously exposed. In 2026, the investors who succeed will be the ones who respect both sides of the equation. They'll buy properties in markets with strong rental demand, investment, ensure they're cash flowing from day one, and then allow appreciation to build their wealth in the background. That balance, cash flow today, appreciation tomorrow, is the formula for real, sustainable passive income. One of the biggest misconceptions about rental real estate is that it's automatically passive. People imagine buying a property, putting a tenant in, and then sitting back while rent checks roll in. But anyone who has ever managed rentals knows that without the right systems, it can quickly turn into a second job, one filled with late-night phone calls, unexpected repairs, and constant tenant issues. The real secret to turning rentals into true passive income in 2026 is building systems, outsourcing management, and setting up a structure that allows your portfolio to scale without draining your time and energy. The first step is property management. Many investors hesitate to hire a property manager because they want to save the 8-10% fee. But the reality is that fee often pays for itself by reducing vacancies, investment, handling tenant screening more effectively, and making sure rent is collected on time. More importantly, it gives you back your time and peace of mind. A professional manager deals with maintenance calls, enforces leases, and keeps operations running smoothly. If your goal is to build a portfolio, not just manage one or two properties, management is not an expense. It's an investment. Technology also plays a huge role in automation. In 2026, there are platforms that handle rent collection, automate late fees, and even allow tenants to submit maintenance requests online. Some services connect directly with contractors who can be dispatched automatically. Investment. These tools remove friction from the rental process and ensure you're not stuck chasing down payments or scheduling repairs yourself. The less hands-on work required from you, the more scalable your portfolio becomes. Systems also extend to your financial operations. Successful investors treat their rentals like businesses. That means having accounting software to track income and expenses, setting aside reserves for unexpected costs, and working with tax professionals who understand real estate deductions. By keeping finances organized, you not only make tax season easier, but also position yourself for refinancing or future purchases since lenders want clear documentation. Another key system is building a reliable team. Real estate is not a solo game. You need trusted contractors, plumbers, electricians, and handymen who can handle repairs quickly and at fair prices. You need an attorney who can help with lease agreements or legal issues, and a CPA who can optimize your tax strategy. Having these professionals in place means you don't panic when a problem comes up. You simply call the right person and move on. The final piece is scaling strategically. One or two rentals might feel manageable on your own, but if you want to build real passive income, the goal is to own multiple properties. That's only possible if your systems are strong enough to handle growth. By outsourcing the day-to-day, using technology to streamline operations and building a solid team, you create a business that runs with or without your constant involvement. In 2026, the investors who win won't just be the ones who own properties. They'll be the ones who own systems. And that's the difference between creating another job for yourself and creating true passive income. The more efficiently you build those systems today, the more freedom you'll enjoy tomorrow.